What we do here is go back.
What's going on, everyone? So, I figured I'd give my spiritual story, spiritual walk, spiritual path, whatever you want to call it. Just so it's out there and I don't have to tell everybody all the time, although I probably will repeat it a lot. But I grew up in a Christian household, so church every week, youth groups, things like that. Never OD religious, but it was something that, like, certain things kind of always stuck, which I ended up learning later were universals, which is probably why they stuck. But universal in the sense that everybody says the same thing. So I grew up that way, and it kind of started when I was working for the Department of Social Services as a temp worker. We didn't have a whole lot of stuff to do, so we had a lot of downtime and would have points where I would just have free time to read. So one of the books I read was The Secret. And I remember showing it to my mom, and I'm like, yo, check this out. This has, like, a lot of interesting stuff in it, and, like, I would think you would agree with it all. And she's like, I guess read a little bit of it and was like, oh, it doesn't reference God, so don't listen to it. And I'm like, they kind of substitute source for God, but I guess maybe I'm just wrong, so whatever. Then this girl I dated in college was an atheist, and I'm like, well, we can't really get married, because I can't marry somebody who doesn't believe in God. Come on. So we would have talks, and one of the questions she had asked, she's like, why should I believe? And I'm like, I don't know, just because you have to. Like, how could you not? She's like, well, I don't think that's a good enough reason. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't, you got to do it. So I never really had an answer, and that kind of always ended up sticking with me, or at least stuck with me while I was with her. And then afterwards, when my mind changed or whatever. But so I was the Christian route, at least somewhat Christian-based mindset, in the sense to a lot of people. I was never a Christian. I was never a true Christian, and whatever, I'll call that fair. Who was it? I was going through a lot of stuff with my ex-girlfriend, and I would take points where I would go to church, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start doing this, see if this changes anything, whatever. I'd go. Every time I'd go, I'd happen to hear something that ironically fit with what was going on in my life, but it was one of those, like, it's either coincidence or it's a sign. It's a sign. I'm gonna assume it's a sign because there's no way, or it's just too peculiar that I show up on this day and it happens to talk about something that's actually going on in my life. So I would do that, and I'm like, maybe I do need to do this all the time. So my mom gives me these things called Word of the Days. So I had that where it's a different thing for every day, and I'm reading them, and I'm like, all right, I'm trying, and I'm looking, and I'm like, you're kind of telling me basic stuff, like I need something better than that, whatever. So I had this app called Keek, video sharing apps, and there's a lady that I met. And I remember listening to her talk, like listening to her videos or whatever. I'm like, all right, I get your ideas. Like, it's kind of cool, whatever. Became cool, whatever. Then I had a day where I did a work rant. And she comes in and she's like, yo, that's your ego. And I'm like, or no. She's like, yeah, it's your ego. It's your ego the reason that you're doing what you're doing. I'm like, no, I'm just right. And that is what it is. Well, ended up going on a trip, and on that trip I read the book The Four Agreements, and I was like, yo, this kind of sounds a lot like what Melissa would say. So I hit her up. I'm like, yo, check this out. She's like, yeah, I know of that book. It, like, if you found that interesting, you'd really like this. And she sent me a link called Jesus, His Religion. It was a talk by Alan Watts. first time I was ever introduced to him, thanks to her. But I listened to it and I was like, well, damn. Okay. I could follow that, and that, like, ding 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 ding. I had mad stuff going off the first time I ever heard him. And I was like, oh, that was like super dope. And she's like, oh, if you like that, then I think you might be interested in Buddhism. We started talking, in a sense, talking more off that. We would go into a lot of deep conversations and things like that. But so I got into that for a while, and that was like, well, the Bible says that everything else is false, but this seems to be extremely true. So I don't buy that in the Bible. There were other aspects with the Bible that I never fully agreed with anyway. So in my head I was like, I was never one of those, the Bible is 100% truth. So I'm like, I don't necessarily believe these parts, but whatever. I'm not gonna argue it. And then I got to a point where I would start arguing it. So I went through like started reading Buddhism books, Deepak Chopra, listening to a heavy amount of Alan, because I found him to be absolutely phenomenal. But I remember this happened while I was transitioning and leaving my apartment. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm going to make this decision. I'm just going to suck it up and do it. My parents offered for me to go back home. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go. Boom. Make the move back home, sucked it up, brought my cats, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Soon as I moved back home, I'm like, yes, I'm going to start getting on the right path now. I'm going to start saving. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Literally like a weekend, not even, like 2 days in, I think. I'm driving to work, crashed my car. I remember my first reaction was, fuck! Like, I remember Snapchatting that. Or keeking it. I think I keeked it. Where literally, that's the only thing I said in the video. And then as soon as it ended, that happened, I sat back, and I'm like, I remember listening to Alan. And just some of the things with, like, the worrying, and things like that, and it came to my head. I was like, alright, I crashed. I've been through a bunch of accidents in my life, so I crashed. This sucks. I'm gonna have to now figure out a different way to get back and forth to work. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get here to do this, and like, that sucks. But I've gotten through it before. I'll get through it again. There's zero point in being pissed off about this. So, alright, just deal with it. Literally, as I'm standing behind my car looking at the lady that I had hit, I was like, I'm not even gonna get mad. There's no point. This sucks, and it'll be annoying to deal with. But I've done it before, I'll do it again, and life goes on. And that had said to me, I'm like, well, this means that whatever I'm learning from here is true. Granted, I can go back to the Bible and find the same type of teaching of not worrying about stuff, but it's just the way that it's taught by these other people goes, to me, much deeper into the psychology and the mindset, in a sense, behind it. So that made a lot more sense to me to explain. It's like, well, why are you going to get pissed off? Well, because you're worrying about all the stuff that's going to happen now. You're worried about the situation where you now don't have a car, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And it's like, you're focused on all this stuff that you know you can take care of. It's just going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Remember, that had set me off. Got into meditating. Even though I never picked it up heavy, I got into that a little bit. And a lot of it was really just listening to Alan. And then I got to a point where, since I've now run out of stuff really to listen to from him that's new. I listen to a lot of Christian debates with atheists. I'm not an atheist, although I agree with a lot of their points, and I do understand that my belief now in God, whatever, I understand that my belief is somewhat irrational because of the fact that or is in a sense irrational because of the fact that I cannot actually pull out and verify what I consider to be God. But I don't care because I don't need to. I don't really need the term. It's just useful for communication. I don't have to sit here by myself and refer to it that way with the thought that if I don't, there's going to be some type of repercussion. So, my thing was never most people that I hear talk about it say they're have some type of a dramatic story or some thing that happened to them that caused them to change, and I really don't have that. I don't have some anger moment that caused me to stop believing in the Bible. I just never fully believed in it anyway. I tried and force myself to be what I thought was what I was supposed to be as a Christian, but I don't know, apparently I was A, wrong in what I thought it was to be anyway, and then B, considering I never really believed, I don't really have the ability to believe anyway, not on my own. God's got to give it to me. That's His grace. I'm not going to go into that right now, but yeah, I never had a real fall away from faith. I just read some other shit that I'm like, yo, this makes sense. If this is a lie, you kind of got to prove it because you're making the claim that this is wrong. Certain aspects, cool, yeah, you can prove this, but when it comes to Buddhism, proving it wrong to me is extremely hard because although they make claims and they do have people that stick to those and create that as tenet, you must believe in this, if understood correctly, to me, you don't really. And the ones that tell you do are ones that you don't listen to. That, or they're tricking you on purpose so that you figure it out on your own, that you don't need to listen to them. I don't follow Buddhism now because of the fact that a lot of it has gone into you must believe it this way and practice it this way and live it this way, and in my head I'm like, you're putting me on the same wheel that you're telling everybody to get off of, and then even giving the idea of getting off of the wheel, that's I get it, but the way a lot of people teach it, I think, is that's not it. I ain't smart. I'm not trying to claim I know a whole lot more about it than you, but from what I've heard explained, it makes a lot more sense this way than it does that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of don't care because I'm not going to follow that shit anyway. Do what you do if you do. I like what I learned from it, and I leave it at that. But that's a basis. It's not really a whole lot in between. I never got into any cult type stuff, or I never got into chakras. I don't care to. I get the premise, I guess, behind it, but there's a lot to it, and I don't care. And I don't really fully believe it. I don't believe in that really at all. I get the idea, like I said, behind it, but I do not believe that there are actual things that are like that. I go into talk about the spirit and all that other things in another one. Make this whole be long. But yeah, that's a little bit about my journey. I'll share a little bit more on just other basic ideas from what I know of them and have heard about them and my thoughts on them. Have a good one.